Comedian, author, and TikTok star, Sarah Cooper.
Sarah Cooper.
Sarah Cooper. Sarah Cooper.
This is your first movie. It happens to be a movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, the guy taking the tickets was like, I watched your videos with my dad before he died. It's a hard thing to wrap your head around because you're literally lip-syncing Donald Trump.
It'll be interesting to check that, so that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
Once you can laugh at something, then you really do have control. You really do have power over it.
The world laughed, and then they said, do it again, Sarah. Mm-hmm. And again.
It's kind of like the band who keeps getting asked to play that one song. And you're like, no, but I have other songs. I have other things I want to say.
Sarah Cooper's comedy and Netflix specials have made millions laugh. Her lip-syncing satire of the president became a defining moment of levity in 2020. But what's most interesting about her story is everything that comes after success. In this conversation, you'll hear how Sarah makes sense of virality and its hangover, why doubt and procrastination can be creative tools, and the deeper search for work that feels meaningful after achieving what you thought you wanted. Sarah Cooper, welcome to the podcast.
Oh my God, Connor, thank you so much.
I'm so excited to have you here.
Me too.
Before you were a writer and a producer and a comedian, you were a designer at Google with a bachelor's in econ.
I'm just imagining like you're telling me this for the first time, like I have amnesia, and I'm like I was.
Did I enjoy it?
Did I like it?
Tell me about that time.
Was I good at it?
Yeah. There was once a time, Sarah, when you were a happy designer.
I worked in corporate America? Yeah. No, not me.
She passes out. We get the smelling salts. Do you ever miss that normal work?
I do. And here's why. I didn't care about it.
You didn't care about it? I
didn't care about it. And that's the problem with my life now. I care about it so much. You know, when you just like, I went to work and I was like, yeah, this button, you know, this interface design, whatever, you know, we had users come in and use our designs or our prototypes, and we would watch them, we would take notes, we would make presentations, we would, you know, implement designs, we'd have big launches, we'd have meetings, you know, we'd have offsites, and I was just kind of going through the motions, and I was like, yeah, this is all whatever, you know, because I loved acting and I loved comedy, and there was this other world that I wanted to be in. So this was all just like, yeah, I'm here.
It was a play.
It was a play. And now I actually now I'm in entertainment, and I care so much about writing, and I care so much about these auditions, and I care so much about, you know, I would love to make a TV show, all these things. And it's almost like I care too much to the point where it's not fun. You know what I mean? And I had fun at Google because I didn't care. So it's just like I'm trying not to care about the things that I care so much about, and it's so hard.
Yeah, you need to dose the caring correctly.
Yeah.
Because you can care too much.
You care too much, and then you squeeze the fun out of it. You know, life is supposed to be a game. It is supposed to be fun. No matter what you're doing, it's supposed to be fun.
So how do you temper your caring?
I don't know. I haven't figured that out. I really haven't. Because I think people sense it, you know, when they talk to you, when you care, you know, when you are holding on too tightly to something or some idea of something. It's almost like I have to imagine that if I'm talking to somebody who I feel like is very powerful, I have to imagine that I have more power than they do, you know? Or I saw this TikTok, I'm always on TikTok, and it was like, you'll meet someone powerful or meet someone famous, and you never want to treat them like a famous person. You want to treat them like a boring coworker. You just want to talk about the weather. You just want to be the person who's just going to be normal. And I look back on all of the people that I've met, and I'm like, wow, didn't do it that time. Oh my God, worship the ground. Like, met this person,
Why did I lick his face?
Oh my God, licked his face, licked the ground he was walking on. Like, why did I do that? I mean, it's just, that's my life, is looking back on so many things and just cringing. But the cringing makes you feel alive. And also, it was more painful before. And I think as a comedian, you start to see how it's just material. It's just stories. I was performing at City Winery, and after my set, I told the audience, hey, do you want to take a selfie with me? Meet me out in the lobby, and I'll take a selfie with you. And I finished my set. I went to the green room. I got all my stuff. I went out to the lobby, and there was this huge line of women. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. And so I go to the front of the line, and then this man comes, and he goes right to the front. He comes up to me, and he's like, Sarah, can I get a selfie? And I was like, excuse me, sir, there's a line. And the woman at the front of the line said, this is for the bathroom.
I love imagining you so indignant. It's like,
Yep.
I am the voice of this generation.
Yep.
Excuse me, sir. Back of the line.
Yeah, that's exact. I was like, excuse me? There's a line.
You're like, sisters, gather around. This is the patriarchy.
Yep. That's what going viral is like. You feel like the top of the world, and then something happens like that, and you're like, oh no, I'm nothing. I'm nobody. Nobody
I am
knows.
a piece of shit.
I'm a piece of shit. Nobody knows who I am. I need to really reel it in. Yeah.
You went mega viral during the pandemic. Just millions of views and followers and all of just such incredible attention. There's so few humans that will ever experience that. What was that like?
I mean, I had one video, which was the Lysol injection thing, that was got like 20 million views or something really quickly.
It was your impersonations of Trump or your dubs.
I was, lip syncing Trump, which sounds so ridiculous. It sounds so ridiculous, but that's what I was doing. And 2 weeks later, like, nothing had really changed. Nothing had really happened. It was only when I kept doing them that things started to happen. But mainly it was the career change. Mainly it was the meeting all of these really famous, really powerful, really creative artists and performers that I had looked up to and watched on television for so long. Like meeting them, I was just like an out-of-body experience, that I still look back on that time and I'm like, wow, I talked to that person and I met that person and yeah.
What was the most out-of-body experience for you? Or do you not remember?
I know. I
disassociated?
One of the things that I did during the pandemic was watch Mad Men, I think, for the third time through. I've seen that show so many times. And then on the set of my special, I was in bed with John Hamm.
Oh, my gosh.
I was in bed with John Hamm on a set, in bed with John Hamm. And I still can't wrap my head around the fact that I was in bed with John Hamm.
What was that like?
I don't remember. I don't really remember because it was just such you're disassociating. You're like, I'm here, and there's John Hamm, and there's a camera, and there's Natasha Lyonne, and okay, no big deal, So it's wild. What is life, What is it? I think in 2020, I was like, what I'm doing is fine. It's not that great. It's whatever. You know what I mean? I didn't realize how much people loved it and how many people said, oh, this got me through and I really needed this. I mean, I went to my nephew's baseball game last year and the guy taking the tickets was like, I watched your videos with my dad before he died. And that was kind of one of our last memories that we had together was watching your videos. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't realize like how much people love them. And it really touches me how much they love them. But it's a hard thing to wrap your head around because you're literally lip syncing Donald Trump, like it seems so silly.
But even now I see you being moved by that story.
I mean, to be able to make people smile in a tough time, I mean, that's who I was for my sisters, I made them laugh. They made me laugh. We made each other laugh when it was hard. So I almost feel like there is something about a tough time that makes us need comedy more, Do
you think that's why you do this work?
Yeah. I want people who don't feel seen to feel seen. I really do, And it's less and less about me. It's more and more about like getting other people to be seen. Like I'm producing this solo show with Chanel Ali, and She grew up in foster care. Her mom was schizophrenic. She didn't meet her dad until she was 18. You know, she has this story that's just incredible, and she's taken and she's made this comedic performance out of it, which is something I admire and I would love to do with my story one day. And if there's anything I can do to help people see her story, like that makes me feel really good. Or if I can create a show that like helps people who are stuck in corporate America be seen, you know what I mean? Like, because it is such a dehumanizing experience. It's like you really feel, especially as a woman, especially as a Black woman, you feel like you have to be somebody else. You feel like you can't be yourself in this world, you know? So I think that is kind of something that I, you know, I'm just so amazing. I'm just such an amazing human being. And I really am just a trailblazer.
You're just so good.
And I'm just so good.
You are a pioneer.
I'm a pioneer, and really no one else can really do what I do. So anytime I start to talk and I feel myself like getting too high on my own supply, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to lean into that.
Yeah. What was it like to come down from that phase?
I mean, it's been like the past 5 years, it's just been a slow, like, what do I want? What do I really want from this? What do I really enjoy? Because I think I got so many opportunities and I said yes to pretty much all of them. So I did theater, I did a few movies, I did some TV, I wrote a memoir, which is something I always wanted to do. And then I just kept having these ideas for like TV shows, and I tried to pitch them, still trying to pitch them. And it's just like, it almost like 2020 spoiled me for thinking like how quickly things could happen. Because now it's like, oh no, things take forever. Things take a really long time at this point in my life. You know, like it's really like hard to make something. Whereas in 2020, I optioned both my books, you know, I sold a special, like there was so much momentum, there was so much happening. And then, I don't know, I think I just got kind of lost, like, what am I doing? Like, what do I really want to be doing? And, you know, all the personal stuff, going through the divorce and like really looking at my friendships and my relationships, my parents, my sisters, but also just like a lot of failure. A lot of failing, a lot of like auditions that I didn't get, a lot of feeling like I failed even when I got the part, and when I getting on set and feeling like I didn't do a good job, and just really beating myself up. I mean, one of the things about art is that like you have to have grace with yourself. Otherwise, you're never going to try again. And I feel like I got to a point where I just didn't want to try anymore because I just felt like such a failure. Like I felt like, you know, there was so much like hope and potential for me in my career, like in 2020 and 2021. And I felt like I wasn't capitalizing on it. I wasn't able to do the thing with it that I was supposed to do, you know? And that's been hard to like be like, give myself grace for that. There was a time like after I did Unfrosted that all I could think about was my lines and how I didn't say that line right. And I wish I'd said the line this way. And these were lines that I'd already shot, you know, and I just was stuck in a loop of just like self-mutilation of just like, oh God, I messed that up. And why didn't I do this? And why did I say this? And why did I do this? You know? And that went on for like a while, like 6 months, maybe a year of just like really beating myself up. And it was really hard.
Where did that come from?
My dad. He's like, you come to this country and you just feel like if you make one mistake, you're going to get sent back. And that's kind of the fear that was infused in my family. It was just like, you have to be perfect or else, you know? And I have 2 sisters with disabilities, and I didn't have those challenges. And I just felt a lot of pressure. And in tech, it is about perfection. It is about getting that pixel perfect, you know, and that's kind of what you're aiming for. On a movie set, it's very strange because you don't want perfection. Perfection is so boring to watch. You never want to see anything perfect because it's just like, and that's why AI is trying to be more messy, you know what I mean? Because perfect AI is boring to watch. So it's like, you want to see the mess. And yet I was so frozen. I was like, must say line this way, must say line the perfect way. And that is just not at all what you're supposed to be. And it's just the level of relaxation. My respect for actors is just every day just gets more and more, because the level of relaxation you have to be in character when they're giant cameras on you and there's 200 people watching and you have to pretend like you're alone, or you have to pretend like you're having, this moment. Like when I see an actor able to, Kate Winslet in Hideous Kinky, she's walking naked through a field and she pees on herself. She did that in front of 200 people and cameras. How?
That is art.
That is art. That is incredible.
Did that experience change how you approach your art now?
Yeah, I mean, I know now when I'm doing something, and if it's not funny to me, it's not going to be funny to anybody else. You know what I mean? I think before I was just like, let me say the line the perfect way. And it's like, no, like, let me say it in a way that moves me. If I'm moved, then other people will be moved. And it takes so much time to be like, what moves me? What makes me laugh? And that was a big thing with, divorce. And I think this was something I went through. I was just like, what's my favorite color? Because he decorated everything. So I don't even know what kind of art I like. I don't know. I really took my personality and put it all kind of in this marriage. And then once I got out of it, I had to be like, who am I? Who am I really? What clothes do I like? What things do I like? And even stuff that I knew that I liked, I love Naked Gun, I love Monty Python. I almost had to rediscover and be like, no, I do like that. I had to, because I was just gaslighting myself, do I like that? I don't know if I like that. And then you have to come back to it and be like, no, I do like that. I do like that. I do love Seinfeld. I do love British humor. I do love speaking in a British accent sometimes,
Really?
I love it. I really do. It's so much fun. And it makes me feel like I'm on the Thames.
I imagine that must have been so difficult after going viral for a very specific niche of you doing these lip syncing. The world laughed, and then they said, do it again, Sarah. Mm-hmm. And again, mm-hmm. and again. Mm-hmm. And that feels so extractive. And I'm just curious, what did that do to you? Where you're trying to figure out, well, what do I want to create when the whole world wants me just to keep creating these videos, these impersonations?
Yeah, people are still asking me to do them. I think about it, and I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to do that anymore. And then it's kind of like, I mean, I'm not a band, but it's kind of like the band who keeps getting asked to play that one song. And it's like that one song. And you're like, no, but I have other songs. I have other things I want to say. And, but I want to please you. You know what I mean? I want to give you the thing that's going to make you happy. And that's another thing is knowing, do you want it because you want the accolades from it, or do you want it because you actually enjoy it and love it? Those are things that you have to struggle with.
Have you answered that for yourself?
I wish I could, because part of me, last summer, all I did was I worked on a novel. Every day, all I did was write. And it was so much fun. But I didn't really talk to anybody. I didn't really go out very much. And I really did enjoy it. But there was no danger. There was no anxiety. And sometimes you need a little bit of friction in your life to feel alive. If I could give any advice to anybody, it would be be really clear on what you want. I really wish I could be more clear on it. The only thing that I know for sure is that I love telling stories and I love writing. And the best feeling I have usually is when I write something or say something and somebody laughs. That makes me feel so good. And I'm kind of addicted to that. Anything that makes me turn my brain off, it feels really good. I think that's what it is. I hate being serious sometimes, but at the same time, I'm just a deeply serious person. I'm deeply serious. But I wish I could just be goofy all the time,
It's so interesting hearing you describe yourself as a super serious person.
I am. For real. Way too serious. Yeah.
So does your work feel in opposition to that?
I think I find it like, oh, this is like capitalism is really scary. Like, how can I make fun of it? You know what I mean? But I deeply fear it, and I deeply I'm worried. I'm deeply worried about people, but I need to, the power that I have over it is poking holes in it and making fun of it and like saying, hey, this is where this is heading, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, I think comedy feels like the only power that I have over horrible things. Once you can make fun of something or once you can laugh at something, then you really do have control. You really do have power over it. That's how I've always felt. It's like, it's not about understanding it. I don't know why people are like, why? Why is this happening? Why? It's like, the further we go, the less things are going to make sense. We just have to accept that, you know? It's not about making sense of it. It's about figuring out why it's ridiculous, why and how you can kind of subvert that and take control of it so that you can like not feel like it controls you. Does that make any sense?
So comedy is a tool for getting in right relationship with really difficult things.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it, and I think it's true for a lot of comedians. Like, people are making fun of the things that they think have power over them. But once you get to be so big that nothing has power over you, then you start punching down, and that's not where I want to be. Yes, I would love to have a lot of money, but I don't want to get so big that I don't have anywhere to punch but down.
Mm-hmm. What are the things that you're struggling with now that have power over you?
Let's see.
Also, if you want to sip your coffee, you can do that. That is such a funny thing about corporate culture, that it's totally okay for the employer to be shoving stimulants in your veins. I was thinking about that the other week. Like, we had a all team offsite, and there's just coffee everywhere, and it's like, come on, guys, let's get high on this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things like that where you're just doing them because you think that's what you're supposed to do. I always go back to like the mall example where if you walk into the middle of a mall and look up, everyone will start looking up just because you started looking up. It's what Zuckerberg probably did at his conference where, like, you know, did you see that fail where he tried to demo an AI tool and it just completely failed,
yeah.
But people were still clapping? It's like, no, if those were real people, they wouldn't be clapping, but they're your employees. They're people you've placed in the audience to clap, to laugh. You know what I mean? And then everybody starts clapping and laughing. It's this mass delusion that I feel like hopefully the next generation will be like, no, I'm going to do what I want to do and not subscribe to this mass delusion. I hope.
Yeah. It's just so hard because we are such relational beings.
We are.
We are constantly looking to one another. Mm-hmm. Is this right? Am I accepted? How should I be? Isn't it remarkable how hard it is to know what we want?
Yeah.
Such a simple thing.
A few years ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have everyone to my place for Thanksgiving, and I'm going to cook. I don't like cooking. You know what I mean? Like, but I just had this fantasy.
You show up and you're wearing this apron like little skirts, a little too short.
And no, the skirt. I would wear pants, but
I always wear a skirt.
You always wear a skirt?
For Thanksgiving, yeah.
You wear a skirt?
That's what TikTok says I need to do.
To keep your man interested.
And you need to be pulling something out of the oven when people come into the kitchen.
Right,
like,
yeah.
I didn't expect you.
Oh my God.
This is
Look
so
at
embarrassing.
This perfect quiche. What? Yeah. No, I got into napkin folding for like a hot minute, and I was like, I'm going to be the next Martha Stewart.
Wow.
But it was fun for like a second. Yeah.
But I experience this so much at work where it can be so easy to fall into the track of, well, how should a CEO act in this moment, right? Like, this is right? Like, this is what the character should be.
Right.
And I think that people can go their entire lives playing those parts without asking the questions that you're raising.
Yeah, I think that people do. I still remember one time I was trying to have a conversation with a guy during a meeting, And he wouldn't look at me. He was just like furiously writing down in his notebook. And I looked at what he was writing, and he was just writing down like every other word I was saying. But he wouldn't talk to me. But it was like that LLM thing. It's like he was being this, okay, write down every other word.
Attentive.
I'm attentive. But he wasn't present, and I do feel that. I feel like everybody sort of like has an avatar.
So do you have strategies for breaking through and centering in, this is what Sarah thinks in this moment. This is like, I'm not living the LLM right now.
I think it's watching my brain. It's just like sometimes I'll imagine, I journal a lot, and sometimes I'll imagine, what would I journal about this moment right now? What would I say in my most private moment about this moment right now? And that's how I know I'm feeling. My brain doesn't work fast enough sometimes. But like, I would be like, I think his eyes match his shirt.
Is that for me?
Yeah.
Wow. What else would you say? Let's live journal about this moment.
All right. Well, his eyes match his shirt. Oh my God.
I have like dead gray eyes.
Yeah. And I feel like I haven't told enough stories, but I can't remember any stories. Stuff like that, like all the insecurities, being able to share that you're just insecure and you just feel like you're not doing a good job, it's just so helpful, for you and for the other person, because you can both be like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing either.
I really did appreciate that when we were walking to the studio, and I was like, hey, Sarah, how you doing? And I could just tell you were like, I'm okay.
I know, that's another thing. It's
I'm
just
not
like
amazing.
The how are you?
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And at first, again, you disrupted the LLM a bit, where I could sense, oh God, Sarah, it seems like maybe she had a rough morning. Was the traffic bad? I started spinning on all these things, but that moment of authenticity did pierce it in a way that it wouldn't have had you said, "I'm great, Connor. How you doing?"
Yeah.
So the authenticity, I do think you can kind of disrupt the track.
I think the best comedians are able to do that in the moment. They're able to say something. They're able to understand how the audience is reacting to it, and then they're able to call it out, and it creates this conversation. Whereas when when I'm on stage, I'm like fight or flight. I'm very scared, and people don't see that, and I don't know what to do about that, and I probably will go to my grave not figuring it out. But it's like, I tell people that I'm nervous and they don't believe me. And I'm not nervous now, but I had a meeting earlier this week, and I said to the guy, I was like, I'm nervous for this meeting. He's just like, that's a bit. He didn't believe me. And I was like, but I am.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel like there's this huge disconnect between what people see and what I'm actually feeling. And I don't really know how to align those two things. But I think it's just because, I grew up, being just trying to be perfect for my parents, for my family. So it's just, I think I have this armor that is really hard to shake off, as much as I want to shake it off, because I really do.
You mentioned so many things that you want to create. What's the top of the list? The thing that you just have to get out there?
I really want to create a TV show. Well, the thing that's like top of mind right now is I'm just obsessed with the medieval world, and I would just love to create a very modern medieval comedy. That's what I would want to do.
What fascinates you about the medieval world?
Just that we're heading back towards it. That's
God.
what it feels like. It's this. I worked at Google. I know that these systems that everything is built on are so precarious, and they're run by human beings who are very moody. And I think that one day a software engineer is just going to put a comma in the wrong place, and everything is going to go down. And the lights are going to go down. There will be no more technology.
Y2K.
It'll be Y2K. It'll be what we thought Y2K was going to be. And the good news is that the environment will come back, We'll return to this agrarian society. But the bad news is that we'll never be able to rebuild because capitalism will still be around. And Delta will be charging us for rides on a rickety tram. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I see in the future, is that like technology will probably die somehow, because there's no way that this earth can support what we're trying to do with AI, Bitcoin, all of that stuff. There's just no way that we can support that. But these companies still will have their shareholders, and they will still need to meet their bottom line. So I have this idea for this world that I really want to create, where I just kind of say, like, that's what I see in the future. That's 1,000 years in the future. That's what I think it's going to be.
You really think that's how it's going to end?
Yeah. Every time I see somebody talking about how corporations want to charge us more for less, I'm like, yeah, that's where we're heading. We're still going to get charged more, but we're going to get nothing. That's what's going to happen. I won't be around, so it's fine. You won't be around.
Yeah.
Who knows? The sun might explode.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
But that's the premise.
That's basically the world that I've created. Yeah. And I just love the idea of being able to create a world that doesn't have technology, because I don't know. There's something about writing about technology that is, I don't know. There's something that feels not creative about it. I don't know.
It's such a fascinating contradiction.
Yeah, it is, because it's everywhere. I mean, it's like everywhere. But then when you try to write a story about it, for some reason, it loses. Maybe it's just because it's so inhuman or something.
But also a contradiction in your work, in that you both abhor technology and you make your livelihood from it.
I really wouldn't be anywhere I am. I wouldn't have anything without technology. And yet I am so annoyed with people on their phones all the time. Like, it's so frustrating to me. Everybody is on there. Even like people will get on the elevator and they'll see me and they'll immediately take out their phone and look at it. And they're not even doing anything. There's nothing going on their phone, but they just have to do this thing where they look at it. And I don't know, it's just kind of sad.
Yeah.
You know, I just want us to like look up and see each other sometimes.
Yeah. See how angry we all are.
Yeah, see how pissed off we all are. Just see that anger. Yeah.
Feel alive. You had this super successful job at Google. You knew you liked comedy and writing. I think a lot of people can relate to that, where they have a job, a more normal, traditional job, and then some like inkling of something that they like doing on the side. How did you know that it was time to jump?
I had a fiance who was going to pay the rent. No, that was part of it for sure.
You had a sugar daddy.
I had a sugar daddy.
That's a beautiful story, Sarah.
Thank you. I pride myself on feminism. Yeah. I had the very distinct pleasure of having a boss say, you can always come back. And it didn't feel like a risk. Now I don't think kids have that, because I feel like the economy is not great. But it felt like more of a risk to not do it. But also, this was the second time I had tried to do it. Like when I was 30, I had a job at Yahoo, and I left to do acting, and I, again, went broke, had to move back in with my parents. Actually, I've moved back in with my parents at 20, at 30, and at 40. So my goal in life is at 50 to not move back in with my parents. That's my goal in life.
What prompted 40?
My divorce. I had to move back in with my parents after my divorce. So...
Because you didn't have a place to stay?
Yeah, I didn't have a place to go for a while, but then I was able to find a place and move out, thank God. But yeah, every 10 years, I've moved back in with my parents, which they love, which is nice. But yeah, so I had tried it before on my own. I couldn't sustain it. And then, you know, when I left Google, I was probably 36. I had a fiance who was willing to support me. I had a very viral article called 10 Tricks to Appear Smart in Meetings that I wanted to turn into a book. And so I had a bit of a plan. I saw my boss's job, and I didn't want that job. I saw myself at 80 not being at Google, not designing anything. I knew I just didn't have the passion for it. And then the passion for writing grew. And especially when I started to have an audience, I was like, oh, I could actually do this. So there were a lot of things. But I will say that I talked to a life coach before I left Google, and she told me not to leave. She was like, you should have a book deal before you quit. And so I look back and I'm like, maybe I should have stayed a little bit longer. But I just got to a point where I was managing a team and I could not be the cheerleader that they needed me to be because my heart was somewhere else. So that's when I was like, let me leave. But it was still really hard to leave because Google is like, it's supposed to be the best job ever. So how can you, if you're not happy here, you're not going to be happy anywhere. That was what I was thinking. And also my ex-husband, he worked with me. He saw me at work. He was like, you look happy. You look happy when you walk around Google. And I did like the people and I did like the free food and the nap pods. I liked all that stuff. So it was hard to say goodbye to it. And that first week after leaving Google, major, like, oh, crisis, what now? Like, my mom always says, if you want something done, give it to someone busy. So once you have an open day, like, you probably aren't going to get anything done for a while, and it's going to feel really bad. So it was hard. For a year, I was like, I'm probably going to go back. It took a long time to even say to someone, I'm a writer, to even put that label on myself because I didn't know what I was yet. So it was a big transition. And for people or thinking about leaving, it's really about how much can you do while you still have that job? How much can you do on the weekends or even at work? Like, I was taking notes in meetings, but I was writing comedy. I was doing other things. So that's the cool thing about corporate America too, because it's such a performance that, like, if you can play the game, long enough, you could be writing in your blog,
What did it take for you to feel like you were a writer, like you were legit, you were an artist? Probably
when 100 Tricks, my first book, came out. I think I was like, okay, I have a book now. It's not a bestseller or anything like that. It came out the same month that Trump was elected. So I couldn't, it's interesting because, like, it took me so long to see that I was making fun of him in that book. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, that's why I was able to do those Trump videos, is because that book, 100 Tricks to Appear Smart in Meetings, is about men in meetings pretending to look smart and doing things to make it look like they know what they're talking about.
Can you give some examples?
If someone says 25% of people clicked on this button, you say, oh, about 1 in 4. Make a note of it. You look like you know math. Let's take a step back here, figure out what problem we're really trying to solve.
All right, that's a power move.
Pacing around the room is a really big one. Anytime someone's pacing around a conference room, you're like, oh, they're thinking about something deep, But my favorite was always just ask the presenter to go back one slide. You don't even have to say anything when they go back. You just, like, look at the slide and, like, you're adding some numbers and then go, okay, we can move on. Just things
and then
like that.
Like, oh shit.
Oh shit, what's she going to point out on
Sarah
this slide?
Saw something.
She's about to bring this whole thing down. Yeah.
You have to be careful how long you wait on the slide, though, right? If you're just like on minute 3.
Yeah, no. You don't want it to be minutes. You want it to be seconds. And you also don't want to do it if they're on the first slide, because then they'll see that you're
writing sketch comedy in your book.
Right.
In your notebook.
You're not paying attention. Yeah. But so it made perfect sense that I was making fun of Trump. It was like, but it took me so long to see that he's the businessman. He's the ultimate businessman that I was making fun of. I've always been making fun of businessmen. And I was just, the jealousy too of just, like, the fact that he can just he really takes his time when he talks, and he really says some really dumb things, and he really doesn't feel any shame. It's amazing. And I want to say I admire it, but I don't. But I kind of do. You know what I mean? Like, he's the ultimate performance artist.
And there's such confidence.
And also, if you believe in manifestation, he just says he's rich, and all of a sudden he's president again, and he's getting richer and richer and richer. And it's like what Steve Jobs had with that mental thing that he would just kind of
reality distortion.
Reality distortion thing. Yeah. I don't have that. I wish I did.
Is there anything that you feel like you do distort reality around?
I was using this book called The Project 369. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but you're supposed to write I am statements. So if there's something that you want, you write down I am, whatever you want to be, 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and 9 times at night. And you just write it over and over and over again. And it makes you, like, imagine the whole scenario. So, like, I was like a 3 years ago, I was like, I want to be on SNL. That's what I want to be. So I wrote down this. I was like, I'm going to get an email from my manager. I'm going to get an audition, blah, blah, blah. And it happened. Like, I literally got an email from my manager. They're like, SNL wants a tape from you. And I was like, oh my God, it's all happening. So I sent in a tape, and then they were like, okay, we're going to put you in this showcase. They flew me out to LA. I was in this showcase. I was really unprepared. There were 18 people doing 5 minutes each, and I was going second to last. And I was getting, with every performer, they were so good. They were so incredible.
You were watching them.
Well, yeah, I was backstage. I was listening to the laughter, walls of laughter, just like, and Lorne Michaels is in the audience. And I'm like, oh my God. And like, so I started drinking. There were these cans of rosé in the green room, and I thought each can was one glass, but each can was 2 glasses. And I had 2 of them. So I had 4 glasses of wine. So by the time I went out there, I was so out of it, and it was fine. It was whatever. It was not as great as I want, but I was also just like not prepared. I went back to my hotel room. I got really sick. I threw up, really, really sick. Got on a plane the next day. I think I still had puke in my hair. Of course, somebody on the plane is like, are you Sarah Cooper? Can I get a selfie? They get a selfie with me. Literally, they post it on the internet. There's puke in my hair. Okay. But I'm like, no, I'm still going to be on SNL. I'm still going to be on SNL. So you know what I did? The whole thing with manifestation is you convince yourself that it's true, right? So I changed my name in my phone to Lorne Michaels, and then I texted myself, can't wait to see you at 30 Rock. But I didn't realize that iPhone had updated their software so that it sends it out to all your contacts. Update Sarah Cooper to Lorne Michaels.
No.
People, my friends were like, why does it say Lorne Michaels? And I'm like, oh my God. So A, I'm not on SNL. And B, don't change your name in your phone and text yourself. So I will say that manifestation has not worked for me very well. But I've tried it.
Oh my gosh. That is so good that you were blasted in your SNL audition.
Just so drunk.
Wow. I hope they see this tape and they're like, that is such an endearing story.
Oh, God.
We need her.
No.
What drives you to keep creating?
I like getting lost in my own stories, my own imagination. I love getting lost. I think that's my traveling, you know. I can't help it. Like writing, I started journaling when I was like 11. I just cannot help it. So the business of Hollywood, the business of selling something is tough. But I can't help myself but try to create something. So I get this question sometimes, like, what keeps you going? I'm like, I can't not do it. Yeah. Even if no one ever reads it or no one ever sees it, you know, I'm still going to make it, you know.
I have been reflecting a lot on how core creativity and creation is to the human experience. And I do think we're losing it. It's so easy to outsource.
Yeah.
I mean, we can outsource writing now.
Anything, yeah.
And I do worry about what happens when humans don't feel as much pressure to create.
Although I'm reading The Great Gatsby right now, which I never read before. Consuming something that dense, I mean, actually, I think that does so consumption is different. There's like consuming a TikTok video is different than I think trying to read F. Scott Fitzgerald. You know, like the way he writes is so complex. I have to read these paragraphs over and over and over again just to understand what he's trying to say. But I love it. And I feel myself expanding by reading it. So some consumption I think is good.
Yeah, maybe it's less about consumption. It's more being forced to grapple with something.
Yeah.
Being forced to interact with something.
Yeah. And like he was describing the nose hairs that were coming out of this character's nose, and he was saying that they were like attacking him or something. Like, I mean, just the fact that in his brain, nose hairs could be attacking him. I mean, I love that so much, that detail, that feeling. And you could just tell what a sensitive writer he is, and that I hope we don't lose, like that sensitivity of just like, this is how I perceive this person, and this is how I perceive it. I perceive this is attacking me, this is, perfumey, like whatever it is. And ChatGPT is actually really bad at stuff like that. It's so bad at it. That's the scary thing, is that like people thinking that ChatGPT has a human voice, because it's not human, and you can see it. And if you don't cultivate your own like understanding of how you perceive things, then you do feel like you're just kind of floating away, because like I don't know, it's like you need to know how things affect you personally. And to be able to share that with someone, I think that's like the root of connection. And yeah, like you can say, hey, ChatGPT, write this for me. But man, there's such a hollow emptiness to what you'll get back,
It's true. It makes me so sad now when I get letters from people, or I hear a best man speech. Or even, I was at a funeral the other day and I was thinking, gosh, this sounds like this was written by an LLM. Yeah.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I think it's also sad because those were previously gestures that you could only convey through a lot of time. I mean, you could hire someone else to write it, but like creating a really good speech for someone, it takes time. I mean, I've spent months on speeches before that I really want to land with people. And now this idea that you can outsource it and then you have to wonder, there's this suspicion, did you actually write that? Did you actually write this email to me? Are either one of us even reading this email? Or is it LLM to LLM?
Right. What's the point?
It does feel so hollow. I see, when I get emails now with mistakes or sayings that I know this person's used in the past, I feel like just a little sparkle. It's like, oh, I'm actually connecting with someone, because so often now I'm getting Slack messages or emails where I just don't even want to read it. It's like I could go to the LLM myself. And I think we're losing something, and it's scary to we're at this point now where the LLMs aren't at the level to truly impersonate a human's voice. But I mean, what do we do when they're better at being human than being human, or better than writing than we ever could?
Yeah.
Like, what does that feel like as an artist, as a writer?
It just feels like you more need to be like, okay, let me get even more specific, It's just like a push to be as specific as possible, and to like really, really, because that's the only thing that's separating you, is your specific.
The only thing
that separates me is my specificity.
That separates you. Whatever just happened.
Yeah, ChatGPT cannot do what I just did.
ChatGPT could
never fuck that up.
Show me
the way that I just did. Yeah, it would say it perfectly. Specificity, being specific. Yeah,
but also just continually mining for what's true for me.
Yeah.
What's actually happening right now, because that is the last stand.
Yeah.
Of being human. That's a thing that we can really reclaim. But again, what worries me is this technology is pushing us away from that.
It is hard. Like it's, I spoke to a network exec, and she's supposed to be reading scripts, and she's supposed to be thinking about how the script makes her feel. And her email client is like, you want me to summarize the script for you? And it's like, no, I want to read it, and I want to see if I feel something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want to read about the nose hairs. I want to be activated.
Yeah, yeah. And, but these companies, for some reason, I still can't figure it out, obsessed with AI. Obsessed. This AI arms race is bewildering as fuck to me, because I don't get it. The number one search about like any AI is how to turn it off. People just want it off.
Is that true?
It is true. It is true. And I'm not surprised. I go into Microsoft Word and it's like, do you want to write a newsletter about a fishing trip you took in London? No, I don't, actually. I don't want to do that. I'm writing something else. You have no idea who I am.
How dare you, Clippy?
How dare you, Clippy? We got rid of Clippy. Why are we trying to introduce smart Clippy? Clippy with the hat on. Like, what is this? I used to work at Google Docs, and I'm not happy. I'm not happy with what they're doing with Google Docs. I'm not happy with the pop-ups. You want help writing? You want help writing? You want help? No, I don't want help writing. I don't even know what I'm writing yet. Let me figure it out, you know?
I'd love to talk a little more about your loner tendencies. You are someone who has millions of followers, and yet you are also someone who is finding themselves more and more isolated and wanting to be isolated. How do you square that? Like both catering to and so aware of this incredible community and reach, but then also in many ways rejecting it.
I think there's something about being on a stage that I feel like, I can be really honest up here. I can really say crazy things. I can tell you that I haven't had sex this year, but I wouldn't tell you that. But I could tell this audience that, I don't know. There's something freeing about that. And then for some reason, and maybe it's my codependency or, attachment disorder, I don't know what it is. But like when I get with people, I feel this pressure. I feel this to be what they need me to be, to do or say what they need me to do or say. I really would love to have I don't think I've been successful at having a really strong relationship where I'm totally, totally myself and the other person is totally, totally themselves. And it works like that. I haven't achieved that. And it's really hard. And I'm in group therapy now, which is like wild.
What's that like?
It is, it's like I get on a Zoom once a week for an hour and a half with like 12 other people. And half of them are therapists themselves, which is like therapists doing therapy with other.
Wow.
It's
therapists all the way down.
It's just therapy. Lots of therapy. And it's so easy to check out. And when you check out of a conversation, it's violent. It's a violent thing. We can very easily pretend that we're still here, and yet we're thinking about something else. We're on our phone, whatever. And I've been in this group for 2 years, and the moderator will be like, "Sarah, are you engaged? Are you paying it?" And I'll have to be like, "No, I'm not." "Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you say, hey, I'm lost. I'm not paying attention anymore. I'm not here anymore." It's really forces you to speak up and say exactly how you're feeling. He described it as like one-on-one therapy is like your relationship with your mother or father, and this is your relationship with your whole family. And so when you go into this group, it's like sitting at a dinner table with your family, and you become whoever you were. And I become the dancing girl, like everything's great, everything's fine, even though it's not. And it's really trying to like break through that in this group setting and to be really honest and say, I know you were talking about how your dad died, but I'm bored. Which is a hard thing to say, like to somebody. They're talking about something so sad, but you're not engaged for some reason. Why? Why aren't you engaged? What do you want to know? What would make you feel engaged, And knowing that whatever you need to feel engaged is valid and important, not being like, oh, it's just me. Something's wrong with me that I'm not engaged, that I don't care. Every relationship is like two people. And if you're bored, say you're bored. Or if you don't like it, or if you don't want to do that, say it. And as a people pleaser, recovering people pleaser, it's just been hard to be like, hey, yeah, I'm not into this. It's hard to say that.
And it's easier just to retreat.
Easier to retreat, go with the flow. Yeah, my whole marriage was just me, trying to make my ex happy, and I would look over my journals that I wrote during that time. It was just like, Jeff was happy today, or I was obsessed with making him happy, just obsessed with it. And I think that repeats itself a lot of just like, how can I make this person just happy, and forget completely what I want or what I need.
And then living your life through other people's eyes.
Yeah. And then just feeling like, well, why do I feel so lonely? Oh, you know? And going back to your isolation thing, like I was alone a lot as a kid, and maybe the loneliness just feels familiar. You know, I was in my room writing, you know, because I just felt like there was no one to talk to. And I feel like I've just kind of recreated that. Like I can talk on a stage, you know, because it's entertainment and I feel like I'm doing a job, but relationships where there's no job, there's no checkbox, there's no agenda, and you're just supposed to connect with someone, I feel deficient. Yeah. I feel like I can't do it.
And the deficiency is because you're constantly trying to meet their expectations.
Yeah, I feel like there is a checkbox, but there's not. You know what I mean? I was like, in tech, there were always, every meeting had an agenda. Every meeting, every minute had to be accounted for. Like, this has to be productive, whatever. When you get to entertainment, there's general meetings with no agenda where you're just supposed to talk. That was wild to me. It still is. It still is. It's just like a vibe meeting. You're just supposed to be like, hey, do I like you? Do you like me? Do we have similar ideas? You know, like, and I still feel like I don't know how to do them. Like,
and in entertainment, so if you're trying to pick a collaborator for something or...
Yeah, your agent or your manager will set up these general meetings for you. So it's called a general meeting. And I'm like, no, specific meetings. I need a specific...
I need an agenda.
I need an agenda.
How can I get the A?
How can I get an A and make sure this meeting went perfectly?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, no. I always read about people who just like Jamila Jamil had this like audition where she like was meeting someone and then she saw an ex and then she hid under a table and it was so quirky that she got the part, you know, like I want stuff like that to happen to me, but I'm still like too scared to show people how fucking weird I am. Yeah. But that weirdness is what people actually really want to see.
And you feel that's covered when you're with people.
Yeah, it feels covered. Smothered. Well, not smothered.
It's getting a little violent. It's choked.
Strangled.
It's kicked. Thrown in a bag and over the river.
Yeah. But I think just being in corporate for a long time, I don't know. It's just there is a professionalism to me that I don't know that I either need to embrace. I need to embrace probably because I just feel like that's kind of what I got going on.
And when you're feeling expectations of who you should be and then you're trying to play that part, is that an expectation of Sarah Cooper, the comedian, the actor, or something else?
Honestly, the ironic thing is like when you feel like you're performing, start to perform, and then you'll feel like you're not performing anymore. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a weird trick of just like, oh, I'm being performative. Let me actually perform.
Oh, make it big.
And then I can feel like myself again.
Oh, that's a good trick.
Yeah.
When you feel like you're being inauthentic, when you feel like you're playing a part, play that part really big.
Play it big. Yeah. And then you'll snap yourself.
It is the power of comedy, though. It's exactly what you were saying before, where you're shining a light on the thing so you can be in right relationship to the thing.
Yeah, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's outside of you and it's not you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. We always think that if I be this thing, then people will love me. I'll be close to this person. And it's never the thing that you think. It's always the thing that you are hiding or that you don't want to say that's going to make you feel closer to the person, because that means that you've accepted yourself, which means that you can accept the other person, which means they can accept you. But if you start rejecting, like, no, I can't say that, I can't say that, I can't say that, all of a sudden your whole friendship, your whole relationship is just rejection, rejection, rejection. It starts with you rejecting yourself, you abandoning yourself. And so I try very hard not to abandon myself. I love this idea that like there's universal stuff in the very specific. So like the more you are who you are, the more you will connect with somebody. The more unique and weird you are, the more you will find someone who like you just totally get and totally gets you. The more generic and blah you are, the less likely you'll ever feel that connection. So yeah.
This feels like a super weird question to ask someone who is so young. And to be clear, you are very young.
Ooh, me?
Yes.
Okay.
This little bag of bones. Tell me more. Hold the shot. Look right in the camera. And don't blink. How do you think about your legacy? What you want to leave behind?
Yeah, I think I like the idea of being thought of as someone who made people feel less alone in a hard time. Anything to make people who don't feel seen, people who don't have the power, the voice that we have, the access that we have, anything to give it to them. that would be, that's what I'm working on. That's what I hope. Yeah.
Sarah Cooper, thank you so much for joining today. This was wonderful.
Thank you for having me, Connor.